Time now for us to do the news. In our first story, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is urging West African heads of state to adopt a homegrown policy to address the coronavirus pandemic. The President on Thursday joined colleague West African heads of state for a virtual ECOWAS extraordinary summit on the coronavirus pandemic and its spread in the sub-region. Commending President Mahamadou Issoufou of Niger, who is the ECOWAS chairperson, for calling the summit. President Akufo-Addo told the Assembly that the Ghanaian response to the pandemic is based on 4 principles. These include the Ghana approach, which is mobilizing the social forces of the country, including religious, scientific, academic, political, and civil society, to deal with the threats of coronavirus.
The Ghanaian response has been based on 4 principles. Firstly, an all-Ghana approach, because we recognize that this is not a disease, a threat that can be dealt with only by government. We need to mobilize all the social forces in our country to be able to do so. We're calling upon religious, traditional, academic, scientific, political, and civil societies all to come together in an all-Ghana approach to deal with the threat. Secondly, that we are led and informed at all times by science and by the data that we are able to assemble. We're also learning from the experiences of governments that are of countries and governments that are further down the road in responding to the pandemic. And then finally, we think that it's also an opportunity for us to continue to push ahead with our Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. I think it is very, very important that we tailor a Ghanaian, a specifically Ghanaian African response to the handling of this pandemic, and not necessarily copy blindly the methods and that are being adopted in countries to the north of us and elsewhere. For instance, our scientists are very engaged in pushing forward the African vaccine manufacturing initiative. Indeed, there's a Ghanaian scientist is the chair of the board of those who are promoting it. We want to get to the possibility that we can produce a peculiarly African vaccine to deal with the problem, because the mutation of the virus in the various parts of the world is different. So we need to have our own way of responding to it. I share very strongly the views of President Ouattara when he says that we must continue to pursue vigorously our regional agenda. And I'm also very happy to hear that the Convergence Council is going to meet very soon to see where we are in terms of the developments that have taken place and the impact they have on our goals of monetary union and the rest.
Muslims in Ghana and many parts of the world will this year have to go through their Ramadan fast in a way they have never had to before. And this is all because of the pandemic, which is wreaking havoc across the world. As a result of restrictions on public gatherings in Ghana, for instance, the most sacred period on the Muslim calendar will be done without the usual congregation across mosques. On the occasion of his 101st birthday, the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Nuhu Usman Sharubutu, together with the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, called on the Muslim faith to brace up for what will be a special Ramadan fast of a lifetime. Latif Idris has more.
At 101 years, the National Chief Imam is still active and is able to move with little or no assistance. He is able to read without the aid of lenses, a remarkable feat for someone his age. As has always happened on his birthday, Sheikh Usman Nuhu Sharubutu started the day with prayers for Ghana and the world after receiving Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia at his residence. He then made his appeal to Muslims across the country to observe the social distancing protocols to prevent the spread of COVID-19 even as they get ready for the 2020 Ramadan fast, which starts on Friday.
Circumstance can make what has been prohibited become permissible. Therefore, everybody must stay in the house and say his prayer. Assembling or gathering together that will lead to the further spread of the disease, we should all, eschew and abandon such gatherings. And it is also for our own good that we have an act not to assemble. We have not stopped us from devoting ourselves to God.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who surprised the National Chief Imam with some cakes and early morning visit, also urged the Muslim community to do as the National Chief Imam had advised, describing him as a national treasure.
What he has done and continues to do for this country is incalculable in monetary terms. You can't calculate it. He is a major force in the peace and stability that we are witnessing and enjoying in Ghana. You know, the tolerance that he has exhibited within Muslim communities and between Muslim communities and Christian communities and other religions is really exemplary and remarkable. So on such a day, we have to be thankful to God for his life and continue to pray for his good health, because it isn't normal. In fact, what we are witnessing, that you will get to 100 years, let alone 101, and still be looking as healthy as he is. So God has blessed him. And by God blessing him, God has blessed Ghana, because it is God's gift to Ghana.
Included in the items presented to the Chief Imam by the Vice President was a cow to be slaughtered and shared as part of the birthday celebration.
A 42-year-old man who was the first to test positive for coronavirus in the Upper West region has now recovered and is about to be reintegrated into the community. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali disclosed on Wednesday that the recovered patient has now tested negative for the virus twice in a row, confirming that he was indeed free from the infection. He made the announcement when he called on the Tumukworo to brief him on work done so far by the region's Public Health Epidemic Committee. Regional correspondent Rafik Salam, as always, is bringing us the latest from Tumu.
Dr. Hafiz bin Sali first commended the Tumukworo, who also doubles as the president of the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs, for adhering to the directive of President Akufo-Addo on the ban on public gathering by postponing indefinitely this year's celebration of the Paragbili Festival. Dr. bin Sali noted that other paramount chiefs in the region saw the move by the Tumukworo as exemplary and emulated it by also banning all festivals in their various paramouncies. Dr. bin Sali then spoke about the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Upper West region, while zeroing in on the index case.
In the Upper West region, we have recorded 8 confirmed cases, and all the 8 cases, they are doing very well. Seven of them are in Wa, while the other one is in Nandom. All of them are doing well, and I must commend our health officials. They are doing a yeoman's job. I am pleased to even announce that in this case, that is the first person who was reported to have contracted COVID-19 has recovered from the disease, and it's about being integrated into the community. We've sent his sample for test on 2 occasions, and on both occasions the result has been negative. So this is a confirmation that he is now fit to move into the community.
Dr. Binsali conceded that the greatest challenge they are now facing is stigma, urging the people to do away with it to enable persons who recovered from the disease integrate back into the community.
COVID-19 does not mean that the person is going to die. That is not what it means. Once somebody contracts it and is given medical attention, then the person stands a chance of recovering and then moving back to society. But once we begin to shun people, then people will not even go to even health facilities so that they will be investigated. And if they continue to live with us with those conditions, then there's a tendency of spreading it. And once it gets to majority of our people, then it will overwhelm our medical system. So let us try as much as possible to do away with stigmatization. If the person is a CSM suspect or COVID-19 suspect, let us give them all the necessary attention and care, and they will recover and then join us back.
Dr. Binsali later held a joint meeting with members of the Sisala East Municipal Security and the Sisala East Public Health Epidemic Committees on plans aimed at fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Tumu.
Now to end the news, when the president of Ghana imposed a lockdown, life was a real squeeze for slum dwellers who say they never benefited from any of the free food programs introduced to help the poor. I'll tell you that. Because it is embedded in the story filed by Solomon Jojo Kobna.
Say I should go out and sleep. How can I go and sleep without having anything? I have children, I have a wife. Tell them your mind. This is what I used to do. I'm Bashiru. What do you do? What do you see? But now you pick from the water for the cycling. For the cycling. We cycling it. Even if you see what I'm going to eat from Bola. I find that it's beside me. I'm 52 years old now. I have a child, a baby. How can I feel here? No job. Senior man, tell them your mind. No job. We are suffering. The circus don't move. Why? Are we the one who caused the viruses? Yes. We are not the one.
I come from India, and we are here to search for money. Now we are suffering. Now they have come and destroy our rooms again. This is where we sleep. And at night you cannot sleep apart from you cover yourself because the mosquitoes will bite you. If you don't cover yourself, you even get malaria from it. They want social distance. Now you destroy our rooms, we cannot manage the social distance again. Because if I have my room, I'll go inside and sleep. But because of the destroying rooms, all of us, we sleep here. So the social distance, we cannot manage it again.
Toilet 70 pesos. Share a guitar, my sorry, 16,000.
What you call it?
Mengale me ba no kona me ko ba jale. Mi kuru ba ya ko ndiri ye. Mi na mi si ya e kole. Yes, you are.
They say the water be free for 3 months. But around here we dey pay water every day. Even electricity we dey pay. Toilet we dey pay. Even food self we go chop. We need to get food. Everybody they angry for here. Even the tent where they share it, we didn't get some.
We are suffering. The circus don't move. Why? Are we the one who caused the viruses? Yes. We are not the one.
Yeah. A lot of people are in difficulties, but that's where we take a break. And when we come back, myself and Daniel Dadzie, Mama View on the side, just making sure that she's treading cautiously to that place where we have in Ghana East, the 100-bed facility being funded by the private sector fund for COVID, and I know that that interaction will be very much educative. We'll see what they're doing, where they've reached so far, because they promised to do that within a period of 4 to 6 weeks, and we're hoping that ultimately those timelines could be met. But in the meantime, we'll take a break. When we come back, myself, Daniel Dadzie, we're here to bring you the newspapers, myjohnline.com, and 1 or 2 other online portals internationally. Do stay with us. Well, so we have to do the newspapers. Daniel Dadzie is here. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good, Roland. How are you?
Chalade.
I like how you're rocking your face mask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's different from the way you're wearing yours.
No, I just, you're a trendy man, so I like to call you out every now and then. Let's do the newspaper, sorry. I have the Daily Graphic and the Ghanaian Times, bro.
Yeah, I'm doing the New Crusading Guide and the Daily Guide, but you start, Daniel.
Yeah, so the Daily Graphic says the NHIA defends donation, but 2 bodies, individuals alarmed. That it has a picture there of Dr. Jani Selby, who heads the National Health Insurance Authority. There's been some controversy about how their 250,000 Ghana cedi donation to the COVID-19 Trust Fund has been criticized by some bodies, especially those health facilities who are owed by the NHIA. Typical case of Kafu Didi. I don't know, Roland, what you think. Security personnel undergo virus tests. About 10,000 police officials, we understand, wear nose mask or stay home. Greater Accra Ashanti region enforced directive. So there you have the front page of the Daily Graphic. The back page has an interesting story celebrating innovation. Academic City develops 4 ventilator prototypes. Yeah, so that's the Daily Graphic.
Yeah. You can do the Times quickly, or you can do the back page.
Yeah, let me do the Times now. Let's adopt local methods to combat COVID-19. President urges ECOWAS leaders. Tema police gun down 2 armed robbers. COVID-19 police impound 130 motorcycles in Accra. ADB presents PPE to 3 institutions in Accra. We have enough food. Agric Minister allays fears of food shortage. And the back page has refrained from protesting against quarantine facilities, communities urged.
Yeah.
So that's it for the papers I have, bro.
Yeah, definitely. So let me go to the Daily Guide. Has on the front page, Nana wants country-specific COVID-19 measures, and this is one of several recommendations he made during that summit of ECOWAS heads of state, and that took place on Thursday. It was virtual. Yeah. COVID-19 or coronavirus has changed everything around us.
Everything, Roland.
Yeah. We're practicing social distancing than ever. Right. Also on the front page, main story or banner headline, NDC on rampage in Winneba. And, well, as we also get to talk about related issues on coronavirus, politics would always take center stage. And talking about coronavirus, we have it there. There was this, whether it was an advice, caution or not, from the last briefing from the committee or the government COVID team. And this has been emphasized or re-emphasized or reiterated by the boss of Noguchi. And it's captured rightly on the front page of the Daily Guide as engaged expert on COVID-19, Noguchi boss to media. And he has an attached picture of Professor Abraham Kwabena Annan. On the side, face masks mandatory in Accra, has an attached picture of the Minister for Information, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah. Also happens to be the Member of Parliament for Fancy Ayurebi. Let's go to the back page. The back page is all sports, as always, for the Daily Guide. Kotoko Boss still in charge. Ash Gold CEO quits, and it has emerged from the Minsha Palace that Kwame Chey, who is the CEO for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, will continue to stay in office until investigative reports on recent happenings in the club is presented to the Otumfuo seat, to who is the owner of the club. And we all do know that there had been a 3-man committee that had been set up by the Menshapale to investigate circumstances surrounding some $240,000 US. Seemed to have been a FIFA fine over the transfer of a player to a Tunisian side, Esperance, years ago. We're talking about Emmanuel Clote, who is at the center of the saga. Usually the players, they usually are not involved in some of these transactions. So either it stalls their career or does whatever. We have go for big cash any day. And Thomas Partey told, and this is the advice also coming from not only his father, but also some of his managers who are saying that, look, if there's any club in Europe that wants to give you some big bucks, make sure you go. Over the period, there have been some speculations, Daniel, about which clubs want him to feature for the next season, even though we still don't have any end in sight as to when the leagues will resume. We're hoping that by May, as promised by the Premier League bosses, as well as some of the teams in Europe, when the Spanish league comes on stream, we'll see whether the matches could be concluded for the current season. Meanwhile, in the Bundesliga, they are going to play matches from May 9, and it's going to be for spectators, social distancing observed, and 322 people. So myself and Daniel, as we are currently observing social distancing, will be the way the supporters will be in the stadium for Bundesliga matches.
Yeah. Wow. It will be an interesting one. Roland, I saw a demonstration in Israel where they marked spaces on the square.
I saw that too.
Yeah, and they had a demonstration, a socially distanced.
And they were putting on face masks too.
Yes. I
think I love that. Maybe we can experiment that. If somebody is agitated about something, we can whip up their interest and see whether they would want to socially distance demonstrate. What do you make of it?
There's a ban on public gatherings by the president beyond 25.
That's why demonstrations are always an affront to the norm.
Interesting one there. Okay, so I'm going to do a story from the center spread of the Daily Graphic. Government reassures public of adequate food supply. I think this is an interesting one because, you see, it goes all the way back to before the lockdown was announced, right? So President Akufo-Addo announces lockdown Friday night. There's a mad rush for food, people stocking up, and it was just at the beginning of April. So a lot of salaried workers had been paid. They had the cash to buy food in bulk for the 2-week lockdown. Because of that, prices went through the roof. Everything was more expensive.
Just spiraled out of control.
Thank you. Everything was so much more expensive. Now, there was a concern in that week that with the way people are buying, the way prices are going up, people may not have the cash to buy the food, or the food may not be available at all. Initially, the Agric Minister told us that, look, there's nothing to worry about. We have enough food. But Roland, let me interest you with some statistics. Now, Ghana consumes about 1.1 million tons of rice every year. Ghana produces about 700,000 tons of rice every year. That means that we do not have enough rice produced locally to make rice water, cook jollof or wache, some of which I've had this morning. That basically means we are not food secure. And that admission was made by the Deputy Agric Minister to us on the Super Morning Show just a couple of weeks ago. The Agric Minister has said, however, that there's adequate food supply, there's no reason for food to be too expensive, and so there's nothing to worry about. What interests me about this is our own MFA Juadozo hit the streets as soon as the Agric Minister finished speaking, very close to Waters Malata Market. The traders said, look, we don't agree with what the man is saying because there may be food, but it's so expensive. And if you look at some of the prices that they were quoting, something that was 2 cedis, 50 pesos is now 40 cedis. I mean, Roland, it's very worrying. I know I don't do market shopping so much, but I understand if the watch is too expensive, and if the eggs that used to be 1 cedi and now 1 cedi 20 pesos, I have to be concerned. I don't know what you think, Roland.
Well, for me, we needed to take a cue from what really was transpiring in the UK before we called for our lockdown. Because if you look at the UK, we're told that a section, and it was pegged within the period when the news was ongoing by the experts, that a section about 22% of pensioners were not getting access to food and stocks at the supermarkets. And if you remember, you saw the pictures on Sky, etc. The shelves were empty. So we should have known that when we call a lockdown and we don't implement it quickly enough, people will just have a dash to the market, and that was a big problem. The other concern I have is that we have a certain socio-cultural attitude in which if market forces influence prices either to skyrocket or go up, whether in what quantum or not, they usually will not come down. And you find that when prices go up, forget it.
They stay up. Interesting points there. That is why when it comes to medical supplies in some jurisdictions, they actually implemented price control measures. Yesterday, I was talking to the CEO of Nyaho Medical Center, Dr. Elikem Tamaklo. The story is on myjoyonline.com. He mentioned that we need to implement price control for things like the surgical masks that we are wearing, because they become so much more expensive because of the COVID-19. And if you take that policy to the market, there are some economists who say that it's not so out of the way for government to say you can't sell a bunch of bananas or a whole bunch or a branch of plantain for X amount or above. I think that it's something that must be seriously considered, especially since it's backed by so much expert opinion.
Yeah, it's something that could be done, but in a market which is always free, where we also know that prices are always influenced by where the commodities are coming from, perhaps we need to take a real look at that. I don't think it's the best, looking at the fact that COVID is not going to be with us forever. So if COVID goes and we have influx of goods, enough food on the market, how then do you control prices? If for the interim or the short to medium term we can do that, I think that would be a laudable idea.
And that's why, for instance, the markets women at Malata did not limit the analysis to just before COVID. They actually went as far back as 4 years ago. Roland, take a look.
Be expanded.
Member 7.
I have 7 children and I sell here to feed them. I have become the breadwinner since their father died. Where else can I go from here? I cannot feed them if they continue beating us. Tell me, where can I go?
I'm a single mother. I came to Accra to do business. Anytime I set up here, the tax force chases us out. Because of that, it is affecting our business, and my children are also going hungry at home. Just recently, I was beaten. I had to stay at home. I only came back today, and they beat me up today too.
And then the 4th day.
Today is the 4th day since the president lifted the restriction on movement. But since we came here, the police keep beating us. Why?
Well, that's the situation on the market. It's a situation I hope that we can resolve in due time. But let me just do the last paper I have. I have the new weekend crusading guide, and it has on the front page, don't copy blindly COVID-19 measures, and Akufo-Addo tells ECOWAS leaders. We also do have I will win December 2020 elections, latest, MPP will win, okay, and we'll win the December 2020 elections, latest EIU report. We brought that to you in the news. Let's go to the dispatch. Dispatch will be on your screen soon on the front page. And,
Akufo-Addo and MPP likely to win 2020 elections. Akufo-Addo advises ECOWAS leaders, government allays fears over UNIPA's efficiency. That's it for the front page of the dispatch. All right then, the back page is also here. Now, of course, that banner headline on Akufo-Addo winning was also from the EIU report, as has been reported on the front page of the new weekend crusading guide. Let's do the back page of the Daily Dispatch. Economy to contract by 1%. That's the EIU Economist Intelligence Unit speaking there. I wonder what the women who were interviewed at Malata will make of this analysis. EIU's April projection of 2020 elections, Akufo-Addo and MPP likely to win 2020 elections. You know what? The political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Isaac Owusu-Mensah, has also mentioned that COVID-19 will actually allay to the benefit of, play to the benefit of government, and so government is more likely to win this election because of their handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know what the word is out in town, but it's a very interesting analysis to begin with. The NDC will, of course, disagree.
Yeah, and if you look at that report as compiled by Winston, he also did indicate that perhaps maybe the opposition should have just joined forces with the incumbent, because logically, when you have an incumbent with all the resources and they have the officials going around sharing food or other freebies within a crisis period like this, it is psychologically interpreted to mean that it is a non-distinction between the government and the political party that is doing the sharing. So it kind of is a symbiotic way, you know.
We've seen that before, Roland, play out in the creation of regions, where the NDC and the NPP came together to campaign yes for the referendum for creation of regions. I remember very well seeing people like Kofi Adams, former national organizer of the NDC, campaigning vigorously in where he's now running for office, the Buim constituency in the Northern Volta area.
Even Emmanuel Kofi Boa also.
Yeah. Yes, from my own backyard in the Western region. So it can be done. I wonder what informed the political strategy going into this. But former President John Mahama has been very vocal about these issues as well. He spoke last night.
Well, we have to go to myjoyonline.com as we prepare that for you. You know, there was a donation of some 250,000 made by the National Health Insurance Authority. I have this from a former CEO. I picked this from his Facebook page, and he says, I was days when I saw the NHIS or NHIA make a donation of 250K at a time when the scheme has an average payment arrears of 9 months to healthcare providers across the country. Granted that this gesture was truly a lifeline for the containment strategy, perhaps it could have been done on the quiet, but even that, no. And he questions, is it for personal political reach, or is it serve the interests of the critical stakeholders of the scheme? Well, as I spoke to some friends who work at the NHIA, not in Accra, but in the regions, and the staff really internally were not happy. At least two of them that I spoke to, two staff, I can say. They don't form, I'm not sure, the sample population to be able to
make an analysis of it. It's interesting. I know there are some health service providers who are who are owed by the NHIA who have also been complaining.
Yeah, and talking about that, I know that, for example, as at March 7, the executive director of those that operates the National Health Insurance Service Providers Association, they had indicated that they had only been paid 4 months of a year's arrears, and that was a concern for them. He says that was a concern because we only received 4 months claims, and we're not comfortable enough with the current situation as it pertains.
Right, interesting one.
Yeah, we have to go to myjoyonline.com and do as the honors.
FDA warns public about unapproved nose masks flooding the market. Interesting, there are some guidelines. You should really open this story and read it. I don't think we'll have enough time now. But there are some interesting guidelines on what to look out for in a nose mask. Very beneficial. Witnesses in Tema robbery scrambled for scattered money as police engaged robbers in gun battle. Roland, it reminds me of a movie scene, doesn't it?
Definitely.
COVID-19 decisions must not be guided by political parochial considerations. Mahama to Akufo-Addo. And there's also cost frivolous expenditure. Mahama to Akufo-Addo. You know, the former president spoke to the nation digitally last night. And those are some stories from his address. National Security spearheads enforcement of face mask protocol. Well, if they entered our studios today, they won't have any problem with us because we are all masked up. Pharmaceutical Society issues guidelines for pharmacists and pharmacies against COVID-19. Great news in the bottom right corner of my Joyonline's homepage. Coronavirus, first patient injected in UK vaccine trial. My fingers, my toes are crossed. I'm hoping beyond hope that this vaccine is developed soon. Experts tell us, Roland, that as early as September, we might have one. And that's speaking on a very, very optimistic side. We know we need this because without a virus, this coronavirus scare, without a vaccine, pardon me, this coronavirus scare may never go away.
Will be with us for a long time. And you know, that robbery incident in Tema, as we go for a break, reminded me about what had been trending the fourth season was told. I didn't know it existed. It's called Money Heist or Heist.
Money Heist.
Money Heist, okay. On Netflix, it was trending.
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Joseph Akable was even at home saying that he was watching. I was wondering.
So actually, that's what I was reminded of, because I would say I'm quite guilty. Don't tell my boss, Roland, but I watched all 4 seasons in one weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know apparently the original version was in Spanish.
Yeah, it's actually a Spanish series. So it's like a telenovela for crime movies.
Yeah, so it's a crime.
It's a good one.
It's a crime series. But that's good. That's a good one. Money Heist. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but of course we are not encouraging crime here.
This one, Tema Heist. Well, we're taking a break. When we come back, Benedict also with the latest sports update.
Hi there, my name is Benedict Owusu. Time to talk sports here on AM Show. In our very first story this morning, after spending so much on branding and trying to change the status quo, the COVID-19 has affected the plans of Ghana Premier League side Legon Cities. Well, I've gone through what looks like the effect at a vibrant Premier League side now has dimmed due to the pandemic.
Here is Joseph Muriku. Ebenezer Adi is in the center. Tabila against the woodwork. Ebenezer Adi, good defending from Buedu.
They started the Premier League with a big bang. A team with management poised to make a dominant impression both on the pitch and on the minds of all football fans in Ghana. Their entry was an onslaught branding every space available anywhere. Unlike many of the Premier League teams in Ghana, Legon Cities has a vibrant social media presence. A brand new team with fresh players to unveil, Legon Cities have been a delight to watch, becoming the first club in this season's Premier League to start introducing popular Ghanaian artists at their home matches. They started with Shatta Wale. Then others like Kwesi Arthur, Medical, when the Shea came through. In spite of the hype, Legon City started the league losing a lot of matches. Unfortunately, when they started winning, this happened.
The Minister of Health has confirmed 2 cases of COVID-19. The cases were confirmed on the 12th of March, that's today, 2020. Laboratory results of the 2 confirmed cases were received at the same time from the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research.
This announcement by the health minister changed everything. Here is communications director of the club, Kwame Jumajiban.
We were pretty worried about the situation when the league was going to resume and what condition the players were going to be in following that. It was always going to be a tough one, especially when the FA had clearly stated that we could not even train.
Football is a global force. Some even say it's a religion. But football can only survive when matches are played. So with all the flamboyance, the social media activation, when the cheering fans are not in the stands and the goals are not being scored, everything ends.
My goodness, against the side post for Justin Okra. Unbelievable scenes.
What's left of this promising football team in the social media fan base who have no victories to celebrate or missed scoring opportunities to boo? Fatah Dauda is the skipper of the side.
Well, you know the situation in Ghana. If we say we should have this pay cut, the salary are coming, but we can't compare ourselves with those playing outside. We can't.
In Europe, okay.
We can't do that. We wish we can. Do something, because there's no league going, there's no activity going, but yet still the management are still paying the players. I feel for them.
The fans of the club are not left out. They were enjoying every bit of what was happening at the club until COVID-19. They shared their frustrations with me.
The fans out there are being disturbed due to the suspension of football. Well, due to the pandemic, the president urged that all football activities should be banned, and this is for our safety. I know that majority of us out there are so bored. Some of us are getting depressed, some of us are getting so frustrated, but you know, this is just for a short while. Let us just stay home and stay safe.
So what's their plan now, and are things going to change when football finally resumes? Communications Director Kwame Jumajiman has the answer.
Not much at the moment, because we can't even do anything. We are just hoping for the signal to ensure that football can make a return. But of course, that will be decided by the football controlling body and what government has to do in that regard. But for now, obviously, there is not much we can do. But we're pretty confident that when football makes a return, we'll try to improve upon our performances.
So that's our... And we have private sector CEOs who are doing great work. They are mobilizing resources into a fund for COVID. And as a result of that, we have the president attending their sword-cutting event in Ghana East for a new 100-bed facility to be built. It's supposed to be built between 4 and 6 weeks. Well, they've made tremendous progress since that commissioning ceremony. And Mama Vigo Sobaji will be live from the area. We'll bring you the pictures. We'll interact with officials of the fan, those who are at the forefront of this, doing this voluntary work for our Republic, Mother Ghana. But also, you would have known that we want to have an interaction with this lady. We'll show you her picture very soon. You'll see her always interpreting in sign language whatever is being said comprehensively at that event, where we have the live press conferences by the COVID team, and you find usually here alongside Kojo Ponkroma, the Minister for Information and Member of Parliament for Fuansia Yorubi. But we'll have touch with us. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Okay, great. And just stay put, because this one we have to run by. We told you early on about the Economic Intelligence Unit predicting a win for the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in the 2020 general elections, or the presidential election, if you will. And it's on the back of what they think is what has been done by the President over the period. And they also did state that if John Mahama, who is representing as the presidential candidate for the NDC for the upcoming presidential election, needs to make sure he makes a headway. He also needs to look at the strategy of whether promises by the Akufo-Addo administration, as reiterated during the electioneering of 2016, have been fulfilled. Now, we want to speak to a political marketer, teaches marketing comprehensively at University of Ghana Business School. Dr. Kobe Mensah is also a known great analyst on the subject. He is joining me. Good morning to you, Dr. Kobe Mensah. First question, what do you make of this observation by the EIU in the first place?
All right, thank you very much. Obviously, we've seen some of these in the reports come up, every now and again, especially when we're heading towards election. It's not new. I mean, even in our own country, we have Uncle Ben Efson, for example, doing polls, showing, the mood, the political mood in the country, the voters' mood, for example. Now, usually when these reports are out, you would see that there are certain, underpinnings. For example, if they have conducted some polls, they have actually collected some opinion polls or expert positions in order to define what is likely to happen, within the space. Now, obviously, when such polls are conducted, you expect series of them so that you can have accumulatively, a very, very positive, figures, or very, trustworthy figures to actually determine what is going to happen, come the election period. Now, with this particular report, we haven't actually seen, any figures to that. And I particularly had a problem with the underpinnings that they actually used to say that, the MPP is going to actually win. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not against the idea that the NPP would win, but of course, as an analyst, as an academic, you would want to see certain, rational, kind of a discourse, certain things to actually affirm that, yes, this is actually true. And I didn't actually see that in the report. And so I was a little bit disappointed. Now, don't forget, majority of these, press are actually commercial press. I mean, they don't do it just for its sake. They're not doing that. They do it for a purpose. And I'm sure that they will, one way or the other, contact the people, that actually have a responsibility of the MPPs in the campaign to ask them for some, some returns, i.e. they have to buy the report, they have to buy the analysis, etc. So for me, I think it could be another fishing expedition. You don't know, but definitely, you would have to question the basis on which they actually made that claim.
The analysis that has been done by the EIU, which has been in the business for some time, it also took into cognizance what they thought the government had achieved within the period, even though it was not quantifiable by way the way they undertook it, more like just a commentary. In the first place, if you look at what has transpired over the last 3 years and what has been happening in the first quarter of this year within the political scene, how coronavirus also has come in intermittently, what does that tell you if you have to juxtapose that with what the Economic Intelligence Unit is saying?
Yeah, and that is why I was actually questioning it. Don't forget, our political system has been very, very competitive. I mean, if you look at the last 20 years, apart from the early part of their democracy, that is the 1992 and perhaps 1996 elections, that President Rawlings was at the helm. Obviously, that result, you can take that out. Now, from 2000 onwards, you could see that our elections has been very, very, very competitive. In fact, we haven't actually had a competitive elections anywhere across the globe but the Ghanaian election. And that can actually tell you that even a week, for example, can actually swing things. Now, my point is, yes, the party, the government has actually performed a lot of things and have actually done well. Now, if you look at the positions that they used to actually justify their predictions that the administration is going to carry the day. Now, they said that the party MPP actually, its flagship, its infrastructure, and that's what they say in the text. And they said that the party has focused on infrastructure, etc. Now, if you ask the MPP itself, they will tell you that is incorrect. I mean, MPP predominantly focused its position on human development and on economic gains, stronger economic gains. Now, these two are completely different from what they actually emphasized in the report. I mean, we're in this country when we saw that the NDC competed on infrastructure, MPP competed on human development and on stronger economic basis. Now, none of these was actually mentioned in the report. So that could actually call into question the credibility of this report. I'm not actually saying that they cannot win. Surely they can win. But if you want to convince people to believe the report, then of course you have to come again with a very stronger position other than actually speculating, which I find this report speculating. I don't see any empirical data supporting that argument. And I would rather caution our politicians to be aware and to be wary of some of these practices. Elections by elections, we see people trip into the country just for the purposes of commercializing our elections. And that is not acceptable. If you want a very credible report, let your party members, which we have a very strong academics in both parties, let them do the proper job, let them do the proper opinion collection, ongoing, cycle by cycle, and then let's make sure that we have a stronger data informing what the strategy should be or what the party's position should be. Of course, you can actually contact our academics as well. They can actually do a better job. But this is very speculative, pace. And I think that it's a fishing expedition.
You look at the demographics of our voter population, made up of very young people, and you look at the policy initiatives. Well, let's put aside what the Economic Intelligence Unit mentioned on infrastructure. But you also do know that this year, the budget had been loaded a lot with the infrastructural activities in terms of what the expenditure patterns would be. Of course, albeit with coronavirus coming in. How will these juxtapositions be made where there will be the assimilation of this sort of information from such think tanks or interest groups who undertake these polls, and then also what will be the real actions on the ground in an election year such as this, and how that could influence the votes that they cast?
Yeah, I think one thing is that, when it comes to policy positions and the political parties on, what they call programs, they're not static. They are very dynamic. Obviously, if the party actually feels that, well, perhaps infrastructure could actually be needed in order to support their own agenda coming in, then of course, you couldn't be dogmatic and say, because you campaign on human development, because you campaign on a stronger economy, you're not going to look at the infrastructure. It will be definitely unthinkable for any government to actually think that there couldn't be any infrastructure development, and as a result, wouldn't actually go into that. Certainly, they can actually go into that space. But what we're saying is that, every party has its own objectives, its own aims, and that is why the ideological positions are there. It actually guides you on how you want to develop, and it actually differentiates you from the other. Now, when MPP said that they were going to actually look at human development and they're going to look at a stronger economy, certainly they will build schools. And they couldn't actually say that they won't build schools. They will build schools. And if you look at the free SHS, for example, probably has a two trunks. I mean, it has one, the tuition free, lessening the burden on parents, and then two, putting up infrastructure so that they can actually get a lot of people into the school. So certainly you've seen that. But what we're arguing is that every political party has its agenda. And if you're actually doing the analysis of how they actually, pushing or they're achieving their goals, you want to actually take into consideration what were the key messages and how are they driving that. And that is why I'm thinking that some of these reports, could be questioned in terms of their credibility, because they haven't actually taken into cognizance the party's own agenda, coming into office. If they had made changes, of course, you could actually signpost that there had been a change in in focus. There had been a change in direction. We haven't actually heard that from the MPP officials. Now, so if you actually do that, then of course, that would actually call into question of anybody who has a very critical eye will actually question that. And my position is that usually when you're doing these polls, you're actually comparing strength of parties. Now, you see
Well, some freezing there, but that's it. It was actually my last question. Dr. Kobi Mensah is a marketing lecturer with the University of Ghana Business School and helping us with that analysis there. And thank you very much in the meantime. But again, we have to take you a live tour of how the work has begun, construction work in earnest at the Ghana East Medical Facility. It's the Ghana East Municipal Assembly's hospital. It's where Mama View Abuaje is with the crew. And straight away we go over to her. Good morning to you, Mama View. What do you have for us? Hey, Charlie Contractor.
Yeah, hi, good morning to you, Roland. I'm at the Facility 100 project. It's a 100-bed infectious disease isolation treatment center, the first of its kind in the country, located rightly, as you said, at the Ghana East Municipal Hospital. And it's been a week since the groundbreaking ceremony was held here to launch this project. It's incredible. This project is expected to be completed within 4 to 6 weeks. So after 1 week, what have they been able to do? We're here to track the progress of this project. We're meeting the managing trustee of the project and also all the team members, all the engineers, the coordinators of the project who are voluntarily doing this exercise. So come with us as we take a quick tour of this project site. Let's meet first of all the managing trustee, Senor Hosey, and all of them are working, so we've got to get their attention and have a quick conversation with them. Good morning to all of you. Mr. Hosey, can we get you so we can talk to you about this project?
Yeah, very well.
Great. Good
Hi,
morning.
Mamavi.
Yes, good to see you.
Are we live?
We're live. We're live on the AM show on Joy News.
Okay.
Yes, and it's
hello, people.
It's been. You seem very excited about this project. Let's talk about your excitement.
Of course, man. This is historical. You know, it's history in the making. It's the first time such a facility is being put up. Ghana hasn't got an infectious disease isolation and treatment center, so it's the first of its kind. Secondly, looking at the technology and the pace of work that we are aiming to achieve, that in itself is history in the making. And it's also the first time that we've had professionals from all the key building institutions coming together to volunteer to do a job. They even don't come together, I mean, as a collective to actually work on any project. But for the first time, we have the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, Ghana Institute of Engineers, the Ghana Institute of Architects, then the Institute of Planners, with the support of MOH and the military, coming together on the project to design and manage and get this project going. It's exciting, and it's been great getting the chemistry together, and that was probably one of my biggest tasks in the early days. And it's been a week of us being here, and we like family, and everybody's keen on making sure things happen. We work till midnight. The team on ground works 24 hours. We have 2 different shifts running, so it's quite exciting.
Well, it gives me a lot of confidence as a Ghanaian, and big ups to all the business people who have come together. The 11 trustees sponsoring this project.
Yeah. I think it's not just them. We as trustees just try to develop an idea, and we've come this far because of the support of our network of other people, retail donors, corporate donors, individuals donating various sums of money, from 1 cedis, 5 cedis, 10 cedis, to 100 cedis, to 1,000,000 cedis, you know, for us to have this project going. So the success of this is not about its trustees. The trustees just have a certain function to do. It's about the people and the donors who have committed their resources in a very difficult time. When people are facing a lot more economic strain, businesses are struggling, people are also struggling to cope, primarily because of COVID-19. And yes, so people can find energy to give to a cause, not for the photos, not for any particular special patronage, but mainly because they want to help alleviate the suffering that most people are facing with COVID-19. And that, for me, is a mark of true humanity, a mark of real nationalism and patriotism. And I doff my hat to everyone who's contributed to this project, everybody who's been committed to it. We are in to deliver real impact, and not just for the photo show.
Yeah. I will ask how people can still support, and if you need more support.
Of course.
But shall we meet the team that's undertaking the project?
Yeah. I think I should go. And one of the things you'd realize when you meet the team, the design and entire engineering team is purely Ghanaian. It's purely Ghanaian. And that tells us that we need to have a lot more confidence in our engineering team and as a people. And most of the big projects that happen in this country should be purely driven by our Ghanaian engineers. You know, and it's a statement I think they are making about the competence and the capacity they have. Some of them have had experiences across the world, and they are sought after, but very little celebrated in their own country. But that story must change. Let me introduce you.
We are changing the story right here on the AM show. So should I come with you?
Do.
Okay, great. All
Social
right.
distancing.
Oh yes, so you can't touch me.
Very well.
I can help myself.
Yes.
Good morning to all of you. Great to meet you.
So I'll introduce you first to our project manager, Mr. Architect Kofi Esel. So he's the lead consultant. He's the lead consultant on the project.
Okay.
And he's putting everybody together, making sure this is going to plan, supervising architectural work and all that. We have surveyor Ian Agbenyega. He's a cost accountant and then the quantity surveyor on the project. So all the supply chain things, making sure things are here, what must be here, what quantities must be here, is defined by him. Maybe you want to take a few words from him on that. So if you're going to be within budget, it will be him. If you're out of budget, it means he has failed.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have our land, the land surveyor, making sure everything is properly positioned, and everybody is here 24/7 to make sure every single rod, every single concrete poured is poured within the line. And then that's surveyor Ligi Kudonu. Yeah, and then the project coordinator. He's the one keeping all of us together. Architect Fifi, he has to be some watching.
Okay.
His name is quite a sentence.
All right.
You know.
Let's.
And then I take it to the project architect. And I think you should be proud to see a lady architect running this project now. And she's Mrs. Ruthan Richardson.
Okay, we'll have a conversation shortly, but I want to talk about.
And we have another architect.
Oh.
You know, from the
In
military.
uniform.
Exactly, from the military. He's Lieutenant Kofor. And we also have Lieutenant Colonel Techi on the project, as well as Captain Atta and Flight Lieutenant INA Tete, another lady architect. So we have 2 lady architects on the project.
Wonderful. Let me talk to the project manager.
Hi.
Project manager, you've set yourself a record time, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Is that realistic? Are we still on course?
Yes, it is. Of course, we need to have everything on site to make sure that happens. We are very much committed to this time span, and barring any very unfortunate incidents, we should be able to meet it.
Okay. So just exactly a week today, this project was launched.
Yes.
What have you done within a week?
We've been able to deal with all necessary drawings for the project, and that normally would take quite a bit of time in itself on projects of this nature. The drawings alone could take a couple of months to get ready.
Okay.
But I've been able to drill it to a good start, and then so we're on the site now, and everything you see around here is a result of the drawings.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for talking to us. We'll keep tracking the project. Can I speak to the architect now? Because I want to meet
the mechanical and electrical plumbing engineer on the project.
Okay.
This is Engineer Magnus Asiedu. He has over 40 years experience. Over years. He's the grandpa. He's the only grandpa on the project. All right. So you maybe want to speak about what the MEP does.
Yes. For now, we can't pour the concrete if you don't have the pipes that will take the rainwater out, the pipes that will take wastewater out, the pipe that will take soil water out. So everything, they are running through the walls, has to be aligned, calculated, and make sure that it's going out. So as you see the pipes are, that's what we are doing. In addition to, we're also going to put electrical conduit pipes when the walls are up. And all these things are being done. We are working around the clock. And when all the walls are up, we'll put air conditioning ducts and air conditioning thing and ensure that it is free from any infection.
All right.
That's good.
Great. Thank you very much.
And then our project architect, you will probably walk you through the layout of where you are now.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'll take you through an orientation of exactly where you are on site. Right now we're standing in what will be the wards, the patients' wards. That's on the lower level. You can see that they're finishing up with the concrete right now. It's in cast, they're just sort of trying to polish off, make sure that it can take the final finish that we want for it, which is an epoxy resin. Okay, we're working towards the highest point of this block, which will be the medical staff block. Your entrance will be from that point. So we have 2 main entrances that we're trying to develop, just so that we have clear, distinguishable routes for patients and for medical staff. We don't want any kind of conflicts within those. It's very important for an infectious disease that you're thinking about protecting your medical staff as much as possible, and allowing your patients to also feel comfortable within the space. So that's where we are right now. We hope that by Sunday we can get the walls up. So you'll be seeing a lot of
walls up by this Sunday.
Well, the reason why we can do that is because we're using a system called the EPS core panel. This will allow us to put up this building without columns, without beams. Okay, so you have that revolutionary system kind of helping us put this together in record time. So that's where we are.
All right, I've got my eyes on you. It's good to find a lady in the team. So good to talk to you. All right. Who else? Let's have the coordinator.
So this is a project coordinator. Okay. You wanted to know how the team is getting on and the pro bono bit of it. You'll be able to brief you a bit more on that.
Okay. So as you are aware, consultancy on this project is free. It's pro bono.
So as a project coordinator, we've had to put all the consultants together within a short time. People who haven't worked before have had to come together to execute this project. So we have people from the Ghana Institute of Architects, Ghana Institute of Planners, Institution of Engineers, where we have the services, electrical, and then the structural, the civil works. So it's been a very interesting project, having to bring all of them together, and also ensuring that our supply chain works. Because of the nature of our deadline, we need to make sure the contractor doesn't lack anything. So we go ahead of him and supply him with drawings and materials. He just takes instructions and then does the work according to the supervision of the consultants.
Okay.
So that's how it's been.
All right. Can I meet the planner now? Because I want to talk about the products that you're using for this project and where the products are coming from.
The products, okay. He is our procurement officer.
Okay.
So
let's talk to procurement.
Yes, surveyor Yanakayaga. Yeah.
Kindly explain to us where the products that you're using for the project, where's it coming from?
Yeah, most of the products are coming from Ghana. We have the EPS wall system. That's what we are using currently. As you can see from the far end, they are making delivery. They are starting their delivery today, this morning. So it will come and it will start the installation. We are using the sandwich roof system as well, also from ISO panel, Tema. So most of the materials we using here are mainly from Ghana. Okay. Yeah, we'll be importing some of the medical equipment though, but I mean we are making arrangements to get our suppliers to supply.
All right. Yeah. Good to know, sir. Thank you for talking to us. Let's wrap up with you, Senor, with the little time that we have left.
Yeah.
You set yourself to raise how much exactly?
Well, we are looking in total raising about 100 million cedis for all the interventions we are looking. I mean, we hope to embark on. This is supposed to be the first of 4 projects. And subject to its success, we think that should actually inspire a lot more donor appetite for the project. So we could have a similar facility in Kumasi, in Tamale and Takoradi, and prepare Ghana for such pandemics and epidemics. You know, and it's the contribution that we all can make to this country and take advantage of COVID-19 to leave an indelible structure in our fight against pandemics in future. We made quite some progress. Probably we're about 16% through our target now with the pledges too we have. Hopefully we should be looking at about 20% of this 100 million target somewhere next week.
Okay.
So we're still working on that.
How can people still contribute?
We have go online www.ghanacovid19fund.com and press donate. There are various options. You could have it by bank transfer. We have our custodian account with Fidelity Bank. You could also pay at EcoBank. We also have a USSD link, which you could use. You see it there, and you could also use your Visa cards to also pay. So all those options are available on our website www.ghanacovid19fund.com. Just press the button donate and donate generously. And with a good heart, your blessings are more than adequate to help this project succeed. We'll definitely have our structures well in place to make sure things are done transparently, things are done in an accountable fashion. We have Ernst & Young as our fund auditors. We have KPMG as the project accountants.
Okay.
So we don't really hold any cash. We just take top line decisions, and they actually make sure that every single donation actually goes for the purpose of the project.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you do. Thanks to the rest of the members of this team and the trustees as well. We want to just take a quick tour in about a minute.
Yep.
Somebody to explain to us what the various teams are doing.
Very well. Let me get it. Dave!
So we're trying to just explain to you what the various teams are doing. We've got men in uniform as well. You can see the military. Senor is getting us somebody who can explain in every little detail what every member is doing. Hi, Dave. Hello. We want you to explain what the members are doing, what's happening right now.
Right, this is, we've kind of split this site up in 4 pieces. So this is what we call Area 1, Area 2. So the whole area this is 1. So now we've finished this part. So we're just kind of floating off the concrete. Here, we're getting ready to put all the drainage and the services in, so that we can start putting the mesh back on, and then hopefully tonight, our aim is to try and get concrete down tonight.
Okay.
In the meantime, we're starting on, as you can see, we're spreading our our 040. It's to start 02 as well.
Okay. All right. I want to say Ayuko to all of you. Thank you for doing this. I haven't seen a team that is voluntarily taking on an exercise that are so excited. So it's good to meet you. Thank you for doing this.
There's one person we really need to mention. We need to mention the Chief of Defense Staff, General Akwa. He has been a pillar on the project. He's made his men available to us, and they've been supporting this project. The Ghana Armed Forces have been fantastic.
Great.
They've been, and he himself has been paying surprise visits. I have to be honest. We keep everybody on their toes. I tell them if they don't do the jobs, I'm going to get General to arrest them. So.
Okay, so we've got our eyes on you. We'll be tracking this project every week as it progresses. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the studio sometime.
I tell you, comprehensive tour by a member of the construction team for this project, Mamavi Osuabwaje, who is a permanent person here. But we just decided to, co-opt to go and do that. But that's a great one. And Senor Jose also will be joining us on Monday live. We are going to have a comprehensive discussion looking at the coronavirus, its impacts on young population, the future of education, entrepreneurship, business, and what the outlook is for growing businesses for the rest of the year and even up to the next 3 years. Because if you know, this conversation is on the back of all that the finance minister had been saying about the recovery process for the various economies in Africa, because he's predicting it will take 2 to 3 years before everything becomes streamlined. Well, it also portends that this could affect ultimately what the projections of businesses are. Small, medium-scale enterprises, even some of the top businesses that we have. And he also is with the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, so you can know how far-reaching the impact of coronavirus. And that conversation, alongside other known experts in the field of business, is going to take place on Monday, live here on the show. Make sure you join us. I'm sure you can't get it anywhere. And talking about that, please get interactive. We have Facebook Journeys on TV. Go watch us live. We're streaming there. We have a Twitter handle at Journeys on TV. We also do have my Joy Online TV, which is always available for you on YouTube. Watch it on the go. Whilst you can't watch TV, you can watch it on your smartphone, your tablet, etc. But look, when we return, we have a one-on-one with Love Emisa. And let me give you a sneak peek of, yeah, she's the one at the corner. What's it?
D. Takrade, the Public Health Laboratory in Tamale, the War Memorial Hospital in Navrongo, and the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, so they can also use PCR technology.
Beautiful Love Emisa is right here in the studio. We decided to pluck her from the TV screen and bring her live. And Love, we'll have some great conversation, won't you say?
Yes.
Okay, so please take us for a break. Can you say, just take us for a break if you can, Love?
Should I sign?
Yes.
Okay.
Some work. How do I start introducing the person, as ignorant as I am, to sign language?
I didn't get the question.
Okay, somebody doesn't know. So myself, I'm ignorant of it. How do I start
communicating with a deaf person?
Exactly.
If you don't know the sign language and the deaf person knows how to sign.
Exactly.
So first of all, when you meet the deaf person, you just wave at him or her, and then you start with a smile. And then you use the body gestures. If you can sign, maybe I want to give you something, so you just do.
Okay.
So that the person.
And what you did is the illiterate sign.
Yes, okay.
Please. How torrid or difficult is it for normal deaf people, knowing that we just don't seem to be in their world and don't understand them?
Sometimes they think we, the hearing people, don't want them to come closer to us. So we are just, let's say, should I use discriminating? Discriminating against them. They are not, so they don't want to come closer, because when they come closer, you might think, you're coming to affect me with this, your deafness. If I come closer to you, I'll become deaf. I mean, when I was learning the sign language, people were telling me, hey, if you don't take care, you become deaf. Even my sisters used to tell me, hey, obey mumu. And I was like, oh, even if I'm mum, I like it, because anytime I'm around them, I feel so proud.
A friend of mine, managing director for PCN Construction, he called me Prince Charles Nkrumah and said he was surprised when I introduced you and you could talk. Do you get such reactions that because you are doing signing, they assume that you're also deaf?
Yes. Sometimes if we are working together, let's say I'm working with the deaf people and we are communicating, they'll say, hey, nice lady, hey, she's deaf, hey, she cannot communicate. But sometimes I pretend not to talk so that they will say whatever they want to say, and then later on I'll say, hi. Then they say, hey, so you can talk? I said, yes, I can talk.
When you wanted to learn the signing, how did your family take it, knowing that this is the perception even ordinary people on the streets have?
For my mom, she was okay. But my siblings, they were like, hey, you become deaf, or we don't want you to become deaf and stuff. I said, oh, no. It's just the language. I'm not going to become deaf.
So that's what happened?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm calling somebody on the line for you, somebody you know very well. Good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. What's your name?
Tony.
Great. Love, do you know Tony?
Yes, I do.
Who is Tony?
Tony, we church together. He's my brother.
In Sawam,
yes, it's Sawam Road Church of Christ.
Church of Christ. In Sawam Road Church of Christ. That's the branch name,
yes,
right?
Please.
Okay. And how would you describe Love in the first place, Tony?
Basically, she's been an inspiration, because along the line, whilst I was learning the fact, she was a senior to me. She had learned it quite earlier before I came in. But looking at her, being a source of inspiration to the deaf community, I thought I could be a support to her. So I also picked up alongside her while she was learning, and she's been a great source of inspiration by teaching me more through my association with her. She's had a very great impact on me in my quest to learn the sign language and to have a positive impact on the deaf community as well.
And I think I need to come to your church. You said it's a One Road Church of Christ, eh?
Yeah, it's a setup.
Okay, don't worry. So that's where I can learn beginner sign language.
Sure, yeah.
All of you have embraced it. Why?
The concept of Christianity in the message of Jesus Christ, the concept of Christianity encompasses virtually everybody. There were no discrimination, and he wholeheartedly accepted everyone, whether able or disabled. With this same concept, we believe that persons who are unable to hear or talk also have the opportunity of receiving the word of God. So that was the basis. That's why we learned sign language, so that we might be able to carry the gospel to persons who are deaf.
How many of you do sign in at that branch, Church of Christ?
Okay, so we have a couple of interpreters. So we have probably averagely about 10 people who are good, who we could use as interpreters. But every now and then we are training new interpreters. We use ourselves as teachers to train new interpreters every now and then. Beyond that, we are also encouraging the entire congregation to learn basic sign language, so that when they meet people who are deaf, they might be able to say, oh, hello, how are you? It's good to see you. And that you can even visit us at Nsawam Road Church of Christ, where we have interpreters who will help you understand the word of God. So we are trying to, bring the entire church to the whole knowledge of sign language, especially the basic sign language.
Charlie, Tony, you guys, you inspire me. Yeah, but if there's one thing you want to tell Love for her to get encouraged, what would you say, Tony?
Love.
Yes.
Basically, when we all started this, and this was not where we were anticipating. This is not the height we were anticipating to get to. In fact, when I watch you on telly every time doing the news brief, and I'm very happy. Sometimes if I'm not at home and I'm at an open area where I have friends, I just call my friends to tell them, hey, this is my friend, or she's my tight friend. We learn sign language together. I become so proud of you, and I want to encourage you so much. And I want to use this opportunity to encourage all those people who are learning sign language that it is possible that we can live in a very similar society where people who can talk, the hearing society members, can also communicate freely with the people within the deaf society, so that we can have a very similar society. Just as the example in Martha's Vineyard in the US, where people within the community learned sign language to the extent that the people who were deaf were not seen as persons who were disabled, because the use of sign language was being used by all members within the society. And we are doing our best. I wish others also see this small thing that we are doing and also come in to join us, so that we can have a positive impact on our society, especially the deaf community.
Charlie, Tony, I'm now from this morning an ex-official member of your church.
You're welcome.
all the best for the morning. And Love, now let's talk about how you got to be enrolled into all this nationally. Before this, what were you doing?
Before the sign language?
Yes, no, before this event, the press conference update.
I had a couple of programs on GTV.
Okay.
Learning to read, reading to learn.
Okay.
Girls.
So you were doing all those
and
gigs?
then whenever the president is coming to give a speech or set match or any of the events,
One of you?
Yes, please. No, I do
you
interpret.
Do it?
Yes, please.
The president requests you?
Oh, okay. Mr. Mpabin recommended me to.
Mr. Ebenezer Mpabin.
Ebenezer Mpabin recommended me to the team.
Yeah, he taught me at GBC training school. All right. So at the end of the day, we know that what you do attracts a lot of viewership.
Yes,
okay. Please. So what has been the response so far when you are standing beside Kojo Oppong Nkrumah and all that? Even though people logically will be watching GTV before now, but now it's on every TV station virtually.
Yeah. Sometimes people will say, hey, I don't even listen to maybe the president or Oppong Nkrumah. I'll be watching you, though I don't understand what you are saying. I just admire you doing something with your hands and then your body gestures. I really love watching you, so keep it up. Some will say, oh, should I say it?
Say it.
She's big, look at her checks, look at her tummy.
Yeah.
Just now that she started working with the president and then Ministry of Information, she has grown big. She's chopping money. Hey, Akola with this cow. Very soon, we'll be sit down, story building.
Yeah, and we're opening the phone lines. I have Arela Enyo Amekuji. I know very well, she's a nurse, and also says, tell her that Aurelia.
Yes.
You say again?
Aurelia.
Sorry. Ural me. Boy, how can I pronounce this name? Okay, Aurelia. Yeah. Good morning to you. I know you as well. And good morning. She said, tell her that Aurelia is proud of her.
Yes.
So you have some good friends who are watching. And I have to say that that's a good one. And I lost Aurelia's number. It's good that she just sent me a text again, so our chat continues. But look, we're opening the phone lines. Make sure you call. You have any words of encouragement. You watch her. We'll again show you how you get to know her or how you got to know her. It's at those briefings at the Ministry of Information. And before now, she'd been doing some work at GBC. But look at her. Just take a listen. You see, and already the phone. Okay, so good morning to you. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Well. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Please, what's your name?
Alice.
Hey, my mom.
Your name again?
Alice.
Alice. Okay.
Yes.
And love, that's your mom?
Yes.
Okay, so Auntie Alice, tell us how proud you are of your daughter.
I'm very...
Oh, the phone lines are not helping us. We'll re-establish.
Let my daughter...
Okay, so that's Alice mom. We'll establish that line again, and I'm sure we'll get it in check. But we already have Nanaya from Kumasi, who's calling through the phone line on your screen, 03022116912. And Nanaya, what do you have to say to Love?
Good morning, Roland.
Yeah, bro. What's up?
Yeah, normal. Yeah, we are doing well.
Great.
I just want to encourage the ladies. I actually appreciate I know there are many of our kind who appreciate the job that she's doing. I like her confidence, the ability to stand in presence of the crowd and do what she does. She's just amazing. She's just amazing. She should just keep it up and do all this. Ghana appreciate it. I know no time she will reap a lot of the dividends and the profit that she got. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Nana. And it's we go back to the phone lines. We've brought Auntie Alice back on the line. Auntie Alice, how proud are you for Love and what she's doing for Ghana?
First of all, for all this.
The line is bad.
Yeah, the line is bad. Okay, please make sure you call.
I didn't know it. Because we...
Well, the line is bad. We're trying as much as possible. But please make sure you keep calling. The lines are already on your screens. So we have them. Call 030221691 or 2. Okay, 030222691 or 2. And let us know what you think. 03022116991 or 2. We have Halidu on the line. Halidu, good morning. Halidu, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tamale.
Okay, please lower the volume of your TV. It will help us. And any words of any words of encouragement you have for Love, let us know.
I just feel proud of her. Anytime I see her on telly, I'm very, very proud. And I want to encourage her that she should continue with that.
Thank you as well. Please keep calling 03022116991 or 2. We do have Love. I wanted to say Alice. Alice is the mother's name. Love Emisan. She is the lady who does the sign language or the translations, we have to call it, when we have the main event, and that is the press briefings that we keep having on coronavirus. And you see him now standing with the energy minister. Was the last 2 events. Okay, and that's it. What's she saying? All right. Okay, so we have Auntie Alice back on the line. Auntie Alice, good morning.
Good morning.
Great. Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Please, how proud are you of Love?
I'm very...
Why? I'm surprised.
And they say...
Too bad.
Okay. The line is bad. Let's go to Abdul. Abdul Mankarigu is where he's calling from. Abdul calling from Mankarigu.
Roland.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning. Any words of encouragement, and what do you have to say about how we have to...
This is Abdul Gani Mankarwo from
Savannah
region.
Yeah, Abdul.
Yes.
Abdul.
You see, always I've been saying that you people are making us proud, because you see, the first time I saw her, I thought she's also she's also but the day that I got to understand that she's a person that, like the way we speak.
Okay, wait. You said the first time you saw her, you thought she was deaf.
Yes, but I don't want to mention the name, so that is why I just.
Again, it's a stigma, right?
You see, but the way she's doing, I'm telling you, like for me, if I open, I just tune my TV set to join news, and I saw her or the young. I think there are two here.
Yes.
Sometimes I do.
There's a man too. Yes.
Yeah, the young guy too. So they are making us proud, and we the young guys and our brothers, we also can convince them to learn, because she's making us proud, eh? But she shouldn't follow people saying that she got she can get a lot of money, what and what. As for human being, if they say you are getting money, you're supposed to be proud of that, you know. Because if you didn't be there as a interpreter with the Minister of Information, President himself, you know, people would have not been saying this. But because you are with this big high people in the nation. So that is why people do call him and call her that she's getting a lot of money. But inshallah, she'll get money. Inshallah, all of us will get the big money in this country before we die. Inshallah. God bless you people, Joy News and Joy FM and the whole multimedia. God bless you, Roland.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roland.
Thank you, Abdul. We also wish you a happy Ramadan, that you go through safely. Observe the social distancing rules and use the hand sanitizers and all the protocols that are needed. And let's go to Atudadze from Amprobi. Atu?
Hello.
Yeah, what do you have to say to Love?
Okay, Roland. Tell Love, my name is Atudadze.
Yes, I just when she was smiling.
I just want to tell her that I love her passion. She's had this passion for a very long time. And sometimes when they have late programs, I always ask myself, how is Love going home after this program? And she put her life at risk for all of us and for the vulnerable to also get the information. So Love, I love your passion and your commitment to what you do. And it's an inspiration for all young ones that no matter your passion, that you have to be consistent and it will take you to places. Before this program, I was asking myself, so nobody is putting a spotlight on Love or Clement, the other guy who does the sign language.
Well, we are.
I am so happy that multimedia, you've always set the pace. And thank you for doing this.
Yes.
God richly bless you. We appreciate you for putting the name of the church also out there.
Yes. As far as we're related, we have Auntie Alice back on the line. Auntie Alice.
Papa.
Please. Okay. Obanye no way, no. Energy problem. Just say anything good you want to tell your own daughter, Love.
As I said, I thank the good Lord Almighty for bringing the church, the Sawan Road Church of Christ Circle, for introducing this sign language in the church. And through that, look at where God has brought up my child. I pray that all the good things in the sign language, but the most of all, humility. Respect the elders, listen, and she should not be proud, but be humble in the Lord, so that whatever the good Lord wants to work through her, it will come to life. Without God, we cannot do anything. I thank the good Lord for my daughter. Everything that is good, that is what the Lord wants my daughter to be. It's not her, but the Lord. I put her in the hands of the Almighty God, and the elders and everybody in the Sawan Road Church of Christ. They have helped me to help my daughter. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mothers and their words of inspiration and prayers. Charlie, this one, no other amor can go fit up. Well, Auntie Alice, thank you very much, and continue to do good and pray for her. I'm sure that definitely God's inspiration would always be on her, and her prayers will be listened to. Thank you very much. Well, in the meantime, again, we'll call a couple of people before we wrap up right here. And I also have this one coming from Mensa Oklu, who lives in Akachi, and says, tell her that we residents and all those who live in Akachi Munenu are proud of you. And your work has been appreciated. And more so, we also need to get some other related issues also on board. But what will be your last words, Love? Knowing that it's a journey you have decided to undertake, how would you want to be best appreciated based on the work you do? And then the rewards also need to follow.
Should I? I want to say something before.
Okay, please. You're free.
I want to say a very big thank you to my boss, Dr. Agre Darko. He always encouraged me. Anytime we go for a program, Dr. Agre will tell me, Love, go and sign. Even though they've not called me, he will say, go and sign, go and sign. There's no one there. Go and sign. He always encouraged me, and I'm so proud of him. He made me who I am. Let me just say that he made me who I am today.
Dr. Agre Darko.
Dr. Agre Darko.
Okay.
He has been telling me to learn hard, further my education. Whenever I go wrong, he will not hide it. He will just come out and say, Love, this and this and this is what you are doing that is not good. You have to do this, you have to do this. Even when I wear a dress and it's not nice, he will come and tell me, as for this, your dress there, it's not nice and stuff. So I thank you so much. I thank the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Osechi, Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu. He came to my office and he was encouraging me. He says, hey, are you the one? I'm so proud of you. And I want to say very good thank you to him for all that he has been doing for me. And then the staff, Mr. Owusu, Tetevi, they always encourage me. And all the staff, if I'm going to mention the names.
Staff of where?
Staff of Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs.
Okay.
And then my colleagues.
That's where you work?
Yes, that's where I work.
Okay. No, that's a great
sign language is, let's say, my passion.
Your passion.
My passion.
Yes. Passion. Passion, Puni. Well, and so we have to thank you. Love, Emisa. You have one more?
Yes.
Oh, free to go.
I forgot to thank my able assistant, Dinah Emisa, my sister-in-law. She's very, very good.
Dinah. So was that a sign, that thing you did?
I thumb up.
Thumb up. Please, thumb up is not a sign. I'm telling you, but thumb up is no be sign.
No, it's a sign.
It's a sign.
Well, in whatever you're doing.
Okay, so even in sign language?
Yes, we have to.
Okay. So, do you like music?
Of course, I do.
Apart from gospel music, do you know the music of Sarkodie and the other ones?
I don't know the lyrics.
Okay, do you know One Love Kubolo?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. So One Love Kubolo is on next. Now, I want you to sign while you talk. We have One Love. What did you say? Do it again. One Love.
Yes, please.
I'm told you don't like... okay, so we have some difficulty linking up. We had wanted to do this. Okay, One Love is coming, streaming in. Look, technology is good, so you have to stay with us as far as this is concerned. But Love Emi-san, thank you very much, and we wish you all the best. But One Love, is that One Love?
Yeah.
We've been having a great interaction with Love Emi-san. She does the sign language when the COVID team, that is the Ministry of Information, is briefing Ghanaians. What would you want to say to her?
Wow, I mean, but first of all, we thank her for her service, because it's one of the essential services, because we definitely need people who cannot hear to know what's going on. And I'd like to know when she learned how to do the sign for the word corona.
Okay, so how did you learn the word corona?
No, it's an international word. This is the sign for corona.
Huh?
This is a sign for coronavirus. This is a sign because it has crown.
Oh, because it has crown.
So yes, that's how come they invented this sign for corona.
So do it again, corona.
Corona.
I heard corona is like a Spanish or Latin word for crown.
Yes.
Corona means crown.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a king's crown. How would you sign that one too?
Cane.
A chief or a king's crown.
Okay, this is crown. This is crown.
But corona is...
It's like this. Please, you are dancing.
All right. Please take us for a break. Talk while you sign.
Are we closing?
Yeah, no, we're going for a break.
Sorry.
Roland, yesterday were you at Stonebwoy's album listening? You missed.
Yeah, I missed.
You missed. So, yeah. So yesterday, around 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Stonebwoy had his album listening on Joy Prime and on Hits 103.9 FM, and it was spectacular. And then he performed with a live band. It was something different. I don't know if you people watched it, but if you didn't, you missed out big time. We're talking about his collaborations with Jamel, the Jamaican artist, with Kerry Helsing, with Kodjoin Tree, and he gave reasons why he chose these artists to work with, and he gave us live performances from his first album, from his second album, like 2 of each, and it was a spectacular performance. And we had the likes of other people. But if you've not watched it, just watch this.
People that are featured with artists that a lot more don't know. You know, just because they may not be too popular. But when it comes to music, I love my music.
Man, go out, come cutting with that sharp dagger from the wisdom, come face the real. Bullet chop on no head away. I dance it gangster, afraid away. Although say we humble, trade and violate and you're dead, straight away. Say that who dem a traffic kill? Who dem a traffic kill? I'm protected, man, untouchable, yeah. As you see me so, looking at me, you know.
Okay, so that was performances from Stonebwoy from his album listening yesterday. Now we have One Love on. One Love, good morning.
Morning. Am I speaking to Mama V?
No, Mama V is not around. This is Kadi. This is Kadi.
Oh, sorry. Kadi. Hello, Kadi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Okay, considering.
Yeah, we'll be fine. And now, I was saying earlier on that I like your kind of music because you're different from the others, and you don't tend to, you know, do what other people are doing. You're always doing stuff that makes people go like, okay, there's only one Love and Mensa who can do this, and that's wonderful. And I just wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you, Kadi.
Okay, yeah. So, considering what's going on right now with the coronavirus and everything, I read online that you are making face masks with your sister from secondhand clothing. And I wanted to know more about that, how you came about the whole idea and why you decided to do this to help people.
Well, this is going to be a revelation. But just before Corona entered Ghana, like we had any cases, official cases of it, when we saw how it was spreading around the world, we at the same time had just finished doing some research around the Osu Beach of how much waste fabric ends up in the ocean from the secondhand goods we import as clothing. And because nowadays we know like a lot of the West is dumping clothes that they will never have any use for, that are actually beyond even use for us, mixing it with the bales coming into the ports and ending up at Kantamanto. So when people buy these bales, it's lotto. They never know if they are going to be able to sell 20% of the whole bale.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming a huge pollution problem. I think Ghana has legally banned it years ago, but still is, I mean, we are still doing it. And so we decided like it would be good as irony as well as practicality to give the tailors which have lost work to second-hand clothing jobs by having them make face masks, or which we call anno draws, out of the second-hand clothing and ship back to the West. But now it seems like we also need it here. So I don't know if we should be shipping it out. However, when the lockdown took place, it slowed down production. So it's a bit hard to get the numbers that people are requesting.
Yeah, but the lockdown has been lifted now. So have you continued making it?
It's very slow. The lockdown being lifted still doesn't mean like the tailors can gather at their place in Kantamanto to be showing where like everything will move fast, because the fabric is right there, they are right there. They are in their various houses, so Okadas have to go where the material is, somebody sifts through it, sends it to them at various places, so it's not quite efficient.
Okay. Can you tell us about your song, Rona Flow?
Rona Flow is just like a news update, by taking the temperature of the city and putting it in words. And Walasi did a song called Rona Flow, which is the original, produced by Lisa, the composer. And then he just put the beat out and said we should all, whoever wants to say something about Corona or the situation. And so I also did my take on it. And Mensa also recently did an excellent take as well.
Okay. So what message What message were you trying to send across with your song Rona Flow?
Not a message, but just various frustrations that I'm hearing around and echoing and kind of siding with. And I feel I express my emotion and thoughts better in music than just explaining it, because it's become an intellectual thing instead of, it should be more, it's a more emotional as well as, yes, more of an emotional reaction. So explaining it is a bit redundant. So I think people should just listen to the song.
Okay. I have listened to the song and I like it. But do you have any problem with any of the politicians we have here in Ghana, or the things that they do or how they handle the stuff, especially during this coronavirus era?
The only politician I like is Zaneto. She's the only one I saw actually going into our most deep privileged society, which is the Kayayi girls in Fadama, the Kayayi women and girls there who are not receiving as much food. They are not getting the free water the government promised. Their landlords are still charging them water. Yeah. The landlords are still charging them rent, even though they are not working. And I saw Zaneto go in there and feed people, because whoever is controlling the funds right now and whoever is distributing the food is doing it according to political affiliation. They're asking people to show their NPP cards and so on, whereas everybody is hungry. This is not a time to use money that's being loaned to us. Our great-grandchildren have to pay back this loan, and people are using it for party activities, putting their pictures and stuff on the food items before distributing it, and only distributing to people who are members of their party. This is not fake news. This is something that a lot of people are reporting everywhere.
Okay, and before I let Roland speak, there's a video of you going live, I think on Instagram, in the bathroom when you were bathing, and then various news portals were like, you're just trying to show your followers or your fans how to bath. I don't know why you did that. Can you tell us why you did that?
Okay, so I was working out. I'm the kind of person who I can work out only when I feel people are watching me. If it's only me watching myself working out, I don't have the inspiration. That's why I like going to the gym.
Right? Yeah.
Doing push-ups. If I see some nice girls walking by, I'll just like doing push-ups there, because it gives me vent to work out. Anyway, so I worked out on my Instagram live, but I knew people were watching and commenting, so I was working out, doing my press-ups. And I got so hot and sweaty, so I just took them with me to the bathroom. And then I was thinking, like, it's very important for people to bath very well, like scrub everywhere. So I was showing them how we bath, like in Ghana, like we soak the sponge, we scrub our face and our ears, we bath everywhere. And that's one of the good ways to prevent corona. So that's what I was doing.
Well, and we have to wrap up, but in these wrap-up questions, the question then will be, I know usually will have international tours, and now we've had a disruption to corona, or coronavirus having a disruption to your calendar. How is that massively affecting you as artists? Somebody who is here, but usually will be having gigs across Europe.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, just in 3 months, from the month it started, for the next 2 months after that, we would have lost at least 50,000 euros worth of shows, like I'd be about 10, 15 shows. So it's really messed us up because this was going to be like, we got signed last year to a booking agent. So this year it's like the momentum has picked up and then it builds for next year. So it's looking like next year will rather become this year because everything will kind of have to start from a slow pace again. So it's really affected us.
Yeah.
My constructor building my house in Ebri has messed up my roof. So I have to do a whole new roof.
Wow.
And I would have got money to do this roof from this. But now.
Oh, it's rather unfortunate. But I personally want to know why you cut your hair and if you're starting all over again.
I guess I got bored, and also sometimes it scared me in the shower when I'm bathing and I raise my head and I'm washing my hair, whatever. The locks are thick and heavy and they'll be touching my buttocks and I feel like somebody has entered the bathroom without notifying. So.
Okay, all right. So One Love, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. Okay, so we are ending the show. Can you please wrap up for us?
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay, I'd like to sing a song.
Okay. Sing for us.
This one is called Wanna Heroes. We did thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Send doctors. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. What a sacrifice.